Yo, what's up? Thought I'd take you guys outside today, or take myself outside, rather. It's been a while. This little park right here is normally where I go when I go for a walk once a day, and I sit down here and contemplate to myself. Unfortunately, I brought myself all the way out here, and it is already starting to rain. I can feel the raindrops hitting me, so I don't know how long this is going to last. Might have to take shelter, maybe. Anyway, let me put this down for a second. This is a good view. It's a pretty nice view, I think. It's about as good as I can do. Yeah, there you go. All right, well, I hope you can hear me better. Somebody said on my last video that the volume was too low, so I'm using a portable mic now. I haven't even shown my face here. Here I am. I'll just have to enjoy the view this time. Um, yeah, and if it doesn't sound good still, well, it's tough shit, because this is about all I can do. Anyway, today was a pretty solid day. I got a lot of promotional stuff for the game done. I uploaded all of the music to streaming services. I use DistroKid. So apparently it takes about a week for all of that to actually upload to those services and show up. So I'll probably make a post about that next week when it's actually there. Um, what else did I do? I uploaded another YouTube video showing my personal perfect runs of all the levels in the demo. Doesn't look like it's going to perform very well, but I figured it was worth a shot. Might as well try, right? Gonna do a speed run video maybe in a few days or so, and how I'm making the music for the game as well, because somebody expressed some interest in that. I also took a look at I submitted the game to DevGam. DevGam is a conference in Portugal, or like an event, usually where a bunch of indie games compete for various awards, and you can put up a booth and stuff like that. Now, I'm obviously not going to actually go there, but I figured it was worth submitting my game anyway. Maybe we can win an award. Funny thing is, though, is if we do get nominated, they send you a ticket, so you have to go to Portugal to attend for that. Now, it would definitely not be worth my time and my money to go attend that. But I was thinking maybe if we are fortunate enough to be nominated, I might ask Maria, our animator, or Lorenzo, our sound guy, if they'd be interested in attending, since especially Maria, because she lives in Spain, so it wouldn't be too far from her. I would have to compensate her, of course, because I'm sure she'd still have to spend some money to get there and everything. But surely it would be a lot cheaper than me flying for like 6, 8 hours, however long the flight is to get there, and having to pay for a hotel and all that. What else did I do? I took a look at. Oh yeah, I wanted to expand the Chinese audience, so I took a look at Bilibili and TapTap, which are big websites for Chinese users. Unfortunately, it turns out you need a Chinese phone number to sign up on those websites, which makes sense. I guess if you didn't have that, foreigners would just come in and spam their websites with their own advertisements and stuff. In fact, it totally makes sense. I mean, if it was easy enough to do that, obviously everyone would know about it and everyone would be doing it. So, but it did occur to me that I can just look up on Bilibili like the different creators who play the kinds of games that are similar to my own game, like Hotline Miami players and stuff like that. So it's worth looking into. Maybe I can get someone to cover me. In fact, I did see that IGN China actually posted a video of my game there, and it got like 17,000 views. So that's pretty good. Because I honestly still don't really know where the all this like Chinese players suddenly showed up at my game from. I just got a sudden spike from there, and I'm still not really sure. There was one video on YouTube that had like 6,000 views, and then I guess this one from IGM, but I don't know. It's still not sure. I mean, I guess the two combined would explain the numbers. But yeah, considering how good that looked, hopefully I can expand that some more. And I'm going to look into that tomorrow. And then I also started looking into Telegram for Russia. So I set up my account for that, but I still haven't actually posted anything or looked into how to actually use it properly. So I'm going to do that tomorrow too. This rain is already starting to fall pretty damn fast. The Weather Channel said it was going to be like 5-10 minutes, so might have to get up and move in a minute. Found myself a pretty nice spot out here, far enough from the 4 or 5 homeless guys I see sleeping on the benches here. Godspeed to them. I tried to stay as far apart as I could. Don't want to disturb their sleep, you know. It's a pretty nice place to sleep, honestly. If I didn't have anywhere to go, I mean, I come here every day, so I've obviously grown accustomed to this place. As for my life progress, in terms of my habits, did I improve today? A little bit, a little bit. My diet did not improve. Um, my diet did not improve, but it will tomorrow. I've got it all set up. Don't worry about that. My sleep schedule probably not solid, considering it is currently 2:30 in the morning. Happy Canada Day, by the way. And what else was I supposed to work on? Not swearing. I didn't swear as much today. That's pretty good. Social media usage. I actually did pretty well on that today. I did not check my stuff as frequently as I have been recently. I didn't waste too much time scrolling. Okay, it's raining like crazy now. I didn't waste too much time scrolling on TikTok or anything like that. So big ups there. Wasn't perfect. I did spend a little time on some bullshit, but one step at a time, right? Happy with my progress. Oh, it looks like all the homeless dudes are getting up with me. Let's get out of here, boys. I'm gonna go hide under. Maybe I can hide over that under that thing over there for a little bit. Um, you know what's funny? On the way here, I was gonna record the walk, but let me correct this. On the way here, I was gonna record the walk, and I was intimidated, to be honest. I didn't want to look like some fucking loser walking around holding a camera talking to himself. But now that I'm in this park, it doesn't bother me as much, so whatever. There was a lot of people around when I was walking on my way here. Could have shown you guys the stadium where the Montreal Canadiens play. It's pretty cool, but oh well, maybe another time. That's actually, there's a lot of tree here. Maybe I can just chill here for a bit. Here, I'll let you see my face one more time too, since you're not going to see it much in this video. Yeah, it's not a bad view. The trees kind of. I might still have to get up, but right now the trees cover me pretty well. So yeah, what was I talking about? Being a pussy while walking over here. What else? Progress on the game, progress on the life is pretty good. Um, I think by the end of this week, I'll be able to get back to working on the full version of the game finally. I managed to narrow down a lot of that promotional stuff today, so that was good. I have to say, the importance of getting that life stuff on track is cannot be understated. For anyone listening to this, if you've never in your life, which I didn't for 90% of my life, had a consistent routine of eating really healthy and exercising every day and all the typical obvious stuff you should do to stay healthy, I can't tell you how much of a difference it really makes to your life. Like when I am really in that routine, the difference in the sense of well-being and happiness is it's truly astounding. So I highly recommend it. And then when I get stuck in my bad habits like I am right now, it's just you get tired of it, man. Once you know how much better you feel when you have a good routine and then you lose that routine, you get tired of feeling like shit all the time, man. And once you've experienced that too, you know what else is crazy? I think a lot about those people who are like 300 pounds or just living really unhealthy every day. And I think about how shit I feel just when I'm living like this and I'm still at least going to the gym or something like that. I can't even imagine what it's like having to live life every day like that. Like it must be such an incredible struggle. I mean, I'm pretty young, I'm pretty healthy, but even I still have weird random aches and pains once I started getting to I mean, I'm in like my early 30s. But once I got there, you still already start experiencing little random things that you just didn't when you were younger. Can't handle. Like I couldn't go out now and get hammered and be all right the next day. Like I'd be fucked completely. Like you just can't recover the way that you did when you were younger. You know. So when I see those people who live like super unhealthy, I can't even imagine. I wonder if it's a thing where you just get, and I would assume it has to be like this. You just get so used to it that you don't even know anything better anymore. You know what I mean? You forget what it's like to have, you forget what it's like, or maybe you never even experienced how much better you can feel when you take good care of yourself. And considering that the mind and body are all interconnected, it's not just about feeling good physically, but mentally as well. I've noticed for myself a really weird thing is my nervous system and my anxiety. I don't experience anxiety normally. I don't have like whatever social anxiety or anything like that. But I did start to experience a lot of anxiety towards the end of when I was still smoking a lot of weed. Big part of the reason why I quit. And also, I just recently realized how it's been like a year and I guess 7 months now, 6, 7 months since I last smoked. I didn't even think about it. So, pat on the back to me for that. But anyway, I first ever started to experience a lot of anxiety only when I would get high. And now that I'm not smoking, I pretty rarely, if ever, experience it. But on the rare occasions when I do, I notice that it's tied to my gut feeling. Like whenever I eat something bad or I'm having some kind of like indigestion or something like that, I suddenly will get these weird pangs of anxiety. And it's yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of interesting how like your gut can be tied to the way your brain works like that. And it's nuts how it's not just that I suddenly feel anxiety. My thoughts start to change. I get that anxiety and then I start kind of like freaking out and then I'm all kinds of weird dark shit starts popping up into my head. It's pretty crazy. I was going to talk a little bit about I had some other ideas about pirate software because I was thinking about that shit again today. But I'm going to skip that part and get to the part where it's a little more interesting that I was thinking about with regards to myself. I was thinking about this situation. The details aren't too important, but like about a year and a half ago, I had a disagreement with some guy, and he. So normally, let me preface this by saying normally I'm the kind of person where for most of my life, if somebody disrespects me in a way that is unprovoked, especially and undeserved, I'm usually the type of person where I'm not spineless. Like I won't let someone just talk shit to me. But it feels like something has happened to me over the past couple of years where I'm increasingly conflict avoidant and I kind of just let people walk all over me sometimes because I feel like I would rather avoid the conflict than bother with getting into an argument. And in this situation that I was going to mention, it was one where this guy was talking a lot of shit to me over a disagreement that I had with somebody. And I thought that I would let him kind of throw his tantrum at me, even though I felt it was completely unjustified and way over the top, because I figured that I didn't want it to escalate into something more. I thought it was a really petty and silly situation, that it really wasn't even that big of a deal. But I was concerned that if it were to turn into a big argument, that it might spread to like a bigger group of people, like a larger, I should say, like a friend group that I was part of. And so I thought, well, I'll just be the bigger guy here and let him throw his tantrum and whatever, he'll get over it and then everything can be cool. There's no reason for this to escalate. And ironically, that ended up completely screwing me over, because what ended up happening instead is this guy kind of just doubled down. And by the end of the conversation, he was basically calling me a piece of shit. And when the conversation ended, I thought to myself, well, I mean, obviously, I can't just tolerate that now. Obviously, I have to stand up for myself. And so, in the end, it did end up affecting the way that I felt about the larger group. And it didn't spread too much, but still, the point is, it got a lot bigger than I wanted it to be. And it just hit me how, ironically, my desire to avoid any kind of conflict ended up turning into the exact results that I was afraid of. And that from the very beginning, I could have just told this person to fuck off, and the end result would have been exactly the same. And the worst part is how this whole this situation happening to me, it really got to me. It really affected me. I spent so much time thinking about it, and it made me so angry. And I wasn't even so much mad at the guy or even about the situation. I was angry with myself of how the fuck did I allow someone to speak to me like that, and why am I being so conflict avoidant, and what happened to the, I don't know, older version of myself, the younger version, I guess I should say, where I would have been, I don't know, have much more of a spine. And I noticed that, I guess what's happened is it has something to do with when I meet new people, because when I think about all the people I grew up with, I'm always super comfortable being myself with them. And in that group, if someone were to talk shit to me, I would totally talk shit back and I wouldn't even think twice about it. But when I meet new people, I notice how I have this instinctual habit of being a very restrained version of myself and not saying too much, keeping quiet, and I observe what everyone else does and how they talk. And then I kind of shift my personality, not necessarily change my personality, but I just modify it or allow certain parts out, but not other parts, that allows me to get along with those people. And so much so that some new people that I got to know, like when I first moved to Montreal, they would even say to me when hanging out with me, like, yo, man, you're like a politician. You never say anything that's like offensive to anyone. Which, I mean, if you watch my videos, is like the opposite of what I'm actually really like. Not to say that I'm like insanely offensive or something, but I could obviously be polarizing to some people. And yeah, just in general, it's like they would tell me that I'm just so reserved and like you're so, I don't know, never really expressing any big emotions or anything like that. And that really got to me hearing that. And so I was thinking about how a couple of videos ago I mentioned how I was afraid of what people thought of me, that I'm always thinking about what people think of me, of people liking me or disliking me. And when I was thinking about this, I realized that it's actually not about whether or not people like me or dislike me. It's about the consequences of it. I actually don't give a shit what people think of me or whether they like me or dislike me at all. I Because like I've done lots of stuff where that I knew would piss people off and I wouldn't even think twice about it. And and I just know it, just in general, that when people have certain kinds of attitude towards me, it doesn't really affect me at all. Like I really honestly don't care. But I definitely do act in a way as if I'm trying to get people to like me or trying to avoid them disliking me. And I think what it really is a fear of consequences. Is that I'm just it's really about conflict avoidance. That I so badly want to get along with people and so badly hate disagreements that I try to get people to like me, not because I care about them liking me as if it has anything to do with my confidence or my self esteem, but rather because, well, if people like you, you're less likely to get into arguments with them, there's less fights, And I think that's all it really is. And same with like the disliking, avoiding doing anything that might upset someone. It's just so that I can avoid any negative consequences of that, and not because I actually care about whether or not someone thinks negatively of me. And definitely when I think about what I'm so worried about when I'm making videos and whether or not what people might think of me or whether or not I offend someone, I'm totally just thinking about things like, well, what if this one person I know gets offended by this and maybe that screws something up for me here? Or like in practical terms, like what if, I don't know, even like on this project, I don't know, what if I say something that pisses off one of my coworkers and then they don't want to work with me on the project anymore? Now I got to replace it. You know what I mean? And so I'm constantly thinking about and finding this balance of, well, I don't want to piss people off for no reason, but I want to be authentic at the same time. And more than anything, really, just in real life situations like the one that I just mentioned, um, I really got to get over that habit that's been built into me of trying to avoid conflict all the time and caring about molding myself to getting along in a group. And it's the stupidest thing because when I was younger and I was much more, I don't know, naturally myself and alive like that, people generally like the real me anyway. So it's also very counterproductive. I tend to be like I'm pretty good with I don't know, with social stuff. In fact, I have kind of a funny story about that. I've been told many times that my writing style is very different from what I'm like in real life, and that I come off kind of cold and like an asshole. And it happened to me many times when I was dating, specifically on dating apps, and I'd be texting with some girl and then I go on a date with her. It happened to me a lot of times that girls would meet me and be like, "Oh, you're so nice and you're so friendly," and I'd always be like, "What do you mean? Like, why are you saying that to me?" And they're like, "Oh, I don't know. It's just that when you messaged, you're like really cold and you're very cold and something." I don't know. Anyway, my point about this is just like when I allow myself to be more free, I'm good with people and I can be charming and sociable and everything. And I think it's actually somewhat of a talent I have, but that habit I have of trying to mold myself and being so afraid of ending up in situations where I'm arguing with people and I'm antagonistic, it prevents me from doing that and it screws me over. And I don't even know where it comes from, honestly. I don't know like what's happened over the past few years or so that I'm so much more like that. So I don't know. I think it's something I just need to force myself to start doing crazier shit and stop caring so much. And also, I think that being in that good life routine is a big part of it as well. I definitely find that when I'm feeling good about myself, when I'm eating well, when I'm doing everything right, I feel also more confident in myself. And I feel more able to go out there and just like randomly start up conversations with people and things like that without feeling self conscious about it. It really is crazy how much the way you take care of yourself can affect like your whole mental state of how you not only think of yourself but how you present yourself to other people as well. Well, it hasn't rained anymore, so that's nice. Looks like it stopped. It's pretty sweet. So yeah, I don't know. I think my mind's gone blank here. I don't know if in these videos I should, I suppose I would hope that maybe just by talking about myself like this, and if someone ends up watching these, that you take something away from it that's helpful to you. What I was thinking about was like, should I turn this around in a way where I can offer some advice or something like that? But I don't know. At the end of the day, this is supposed to be my diary, right? So I think I would prefer to talk in a way that this is meant exclusively just for me and myself. And if somebody else wants to enjoy it and see what this whole journey is like, then so be it. I also really hope that this microphone works out. I tested the quality when I was in my apartment and it seemed like it should be all right. But now that I'm outside and there's wind blowing and stuff, my apologies in advance if this turns out to be terrible. One other thing I was going to practice, which I did not do this time, but I think I did a pretty good job of speaking this time, was I noticed when watching my videos back that I have a tendency to use a lot of filler words such as like whatever and so on and stuff and kinda. So, and I think the reason for that is because I have a tendency to speak really quickly. My mind moves faster than my mouth does, or the other way around, whatever. So yeah, no, my mind moves faster, and then my mouth is trying to keep up, and so it all just flies out a little too fast. Anyway, so I want to try to speak more deliberately, take my time, speak and think more intentionally about what's coming out of my mouth. Not that it gets me in trouble, but just for the sake of sounding more elegant or eloquent. I didn't do it this time, but for tomorrow. And another thing to add on to the list of improving myself. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm also going to say thank you to those of you who have actually been watching these videos. I was surprised to see that anyone watched this at all, considering how long these videos are, and I'm just going on and on about whatever. So I'm glad that some people are enjoying it, and I'm still very much enjoying making these videos. It's really something I look forward to a lot now. It's only been a few days, but I'm kind of excited every time now I finish off the day and I know I get to make one of these videos and I get to just sit there and it's not just me talking to myself in my apartment. Like I can share it with people, even if it's only a tiny group of people. It's a lot of fun. All right. I think I'm going to sit here and meditate a little bit and then go grab some food or something. Until next time.